On average, between 4 to 7 children are lost every day in the U.S. due to child or neglect. A report of child abuse is made every 10 seconds. Around 80% of child abuse fatalities involve at least one parent as the perpetrator. More than 70% of children who've died from child abuse were 2 or younger. More than 80% were not even old enough for kindergarten. My name is Desiree Herrera, and I'm going to be speaking for those who can't or are too young to do so. The children are our future, and we must protect them and punish those who abuse and neglect them properly. Child abuse reports have plummeted since COVID has started, and that may sound like a good thing at first until you realize that children are trapped in the house with their abuse. Reports are plummeting not because things are getting better, but because teachers and family members are not being exposed to the children. These children are probably only taken to the hospitals when things get excessively bad and can probably be too late. A lot of times when kids do tell someone, they just get sent right back to their abuse, which of course discourages them to speak out again. As you can imagine, this would leave them feeling trapped and helpless, which is why this needs to stop. The solution? Kids should not be allowed to be sent back to the home where they were being abused while the family is under investigation. Kids who have also been investigated for abuse should not be allowed to be pulled out of school for homeschool. I've watched a lot of true crime, and the amount of times I've heard or seen that this has happened and they just pull their kids out of school and keep them at home after the teacher reports them for abuse. It's just unacceptable and should not be allowed to happen. Police forces should also communicate with each other when and if a family moves from state to state if they have records of child abuse. I've also seen a lot where the families move to get away from the protective services in their one hometown or one state just to go to another state to do the same exact thing. I think the most effective thing to help children would be for parents who are neglectful or abusive should have the right to have their children taken away from them, and also the right to have children taken away from them. They should be forced to have their tubes tied and a vasectomy. And you may be wondering, what is that? And I'm here to tell you. A vasectomy is the surgical cutting and sealing of each vas deferens, typically as means of sterilization. The sentence is, he couldn't have made Caroline pregnant because he's had a vasectomy. So in other words, a vasectomy is a medical procedure done for men who are sure they don't want kids in the future. A vasectomy is a simple procedure, but I was informed that it is reversible, so I feel as though if someone were to abuse their kids or do these things, then
I've chopped it off.
Now, to get your tubes tied, which is tubal ligation, this is also a surgical procedure. So tubal ligation, or to get your tubes tied, or it is also called female sterilization. Now, most of these procedures cannot be reversed, and if tried or attempted to, can be unsuccessful and isn't always effective. It pretty much is a permanent form of birth control. That's all from me over here, in case you guys didn't know what those meant. Yeah. I also agree that they should have these procedures done. If it is somehow found out that the vasectomy or tubes tied was removed or reversed, then now you may say that's too much or that's too harsh, but you have to consider the children. There's no reason these people should have the right to keep having children to abuse and mistreat or straight up abandon. Not only would this make child abuse cases go down, but also the kids in the foster care system would go down as well. This would help to steady the population because not as many people would be popping out babies and mistreating and abandoning their kids. Now, obviously people who are having kids and take care of their kids and provide for their kids or etc. don't have to worry about this. I am exclusively talking about those who mistreat, abuse, and abandon their kids and do not help provide for them at all. So as long as you aren't mistreating and abusing your kids, you should have nothing to worry about. Which is why I think this would be a good and effective law to pass. I honestly cannot think of anyone who would have a problem with it other than people who are abusing, mistreating, and abandoning their kids without helping support them. Or people who keep popping out babies and abandoning them. Which in that case, they obviously should have the right to have kids taken from them because they're misusing it. I also feel as though pro-lifers and pro-choicers can all agree on this. Not only do people still get the choice per se, instead of completely taking away the choice of completely and taking the right away from people who feel as though they are not ready to bring a child into this world, and instead take away that right from those who are mistreating and abandoning these kids in the first place. It makes no sense to try to stop people from choosing to not have kids and instead enforcing those parents who are not doing good to have them taken away and not be able to have kids ever again. I personally am pro-choice, and this is why I believe that this would be an effective law to pass, and I don't know why it hasn't been passed already. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions, because I honestly cannot think of anyone who would disagree with this unless you don't take care of your kids, you don't pay child support, you don't help provide for them, or you're straight up a child. Recently I commented on this video saying, I don't know why they don't make child abusers get vasectomies or tubes tied. Not only would there be less abused kids, abortion rates would drop and kids in the system would decrease. There's absolutely no reason people who don't support their kids or abuse them should be able to keep popping out babies. Someone replied to me and commented this: dumb idea, that's what leads to eugenics. Just look at what happened to Britney Spears. The law decided that she's not allowed to have any more kids because she had a meltdown. Now, I would just like to clarify some things that this comment may have misconstrued or misunderstood. Britney Spears had a meltdown. I do not think people should get their kids taken away because of specifically mental issues or meltdown. However, regardless of whether the abuse is from child abuse or a meltdown, doesn't matter. It should never get to the point of physical harm to a child. Britney Spears had a meltdown, not abuse her kids. Someone else commented, probably because you have to have a child first before becoming someone who mistreats them. And to this I say, yes, you are correct. But in so many cases, it is the case that they have many children. In fact, multiple children. If they do abuse or mistreat their kids, they should have that right taken away from them. Not just the kid that they mistreated taken away from them, but no more kids for them at all. If they didn't treat that first kid good, what makes you think they're gonna have a change of heart and suddenly start treating the next kid good? No child abuser should ever be able to put another child in a situation like that ever again. So yeah, that is my opinion, and I honestly don't know why this hasn't been enforced. I understand why people would think it's being taken away from our rights, but then again, us who are not abusing and mistreating our children have nothing to worry about. This would only affect those who are mistreating and abandoning and their kids. As long as you're not doing that to your children, you should have nothing to worry about. So yeah, I do think that the people who do mistreat and misuse and abandon their kids should have these rights taken away from them, along with many other rights that they have. And if you disagree with me, I'd love to hear why in the comments. That is all I have to say for this video. I've been wanting to make this video for a minute because I feel very strongly about this. I feel like my biological father should be on this list ASAP. So if y'all know how I could get this law enforced, let me know. I also listen to a lot of true crime and have been doing true crime research of my own and did my first true crime video, and it really saddens me. And I also read the book A Boy Named It back in like 4th grade, 5th grade. It's such a sad book, so awful. I definitely recommend reading it. This is something I feel very passionately and strongly about. I feel as though this could really help the world be better and help the children of our future. But again, I'd love to hear your guys' opinions and what you guys think about this. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'd love to answer them down in the comments, because again, I do feel very strongly about this. I also think that you guys may think that the may be also too harsh, but you have to think about what these predators and child abusers do to these children who are innocent and helpless. You have to take the situation into consideration, you know what I'm saying? Let me know your guys' opinions, and I'll see you guys very soon. Bye. I love you guys.